Not all renovations are created equal, and in the last video we discussed some of the pros and cons of doing those renovations in your home. Here are 10 more renovation options and whether or not they will improve the value of your home. I'm Michael Ouzas, I'm a realtor here in Toronto. If you ever want to discuss the process of selling your home and what some of the renovations you could do to help maximize your return, you can book a call with me anytime in the first link in the description down below. Garage conversion. Some people convert their garages to a home gym. Some may turn the space to a family room or game room. But if you're selling, buyers may put higher value on a garage over extra living space. I tend to agree with that. I do think if you are putting in a gym or something into your garage, that it's still usable for a car should that be the case. So if you have a gym, now those fold out racks are pretty cool. You don't have to have the full rack in there, but even if you did, the next buyer, as long as that stuff can be removed, the next buyer would still find good value in that garage and see it as usable space. Now in Toronto, you can build laneway garages with approvals, and the city has definitely had a bigger forefront when it comes to those approvals. Adding different elements to the garage, maybe car below and an office space or a gym above, that could be a really cool feature moving forward, and definitely a feature when it comes time to selling your property. Removing a bathtub. I mentioned this earlier. If you're going from a 4-piece to a 3-piece, this could play a factor into the resale value of your home, especially when it comes to families looking for a tub if they have young children and the tub is of value to that. If you're going to convert it to a standalone shower, but you have another room with a bathtub, I think that's okay. But if you only have one bathroom in the home and you're going from a 4-piece to a 3-piece, definitely something to factor in when it comes to that bathroom remodel. New roof. Many real estate agents say a new roof is seen as more of a maintenance issue rather than a remodeling project that increases value. I would agree with that. It is definitely something that has to be maintained. It says a new roof increases home value by about $16,000. It's probably about the same cost to put one in these days. This is American dollars. I would say somewhere around 20 to 25,000, depending on the size of roof, of course. And some agents on this article suggest looking at it this way: if you didn't redo the roof, how much would you discount your sale price to entice buyers? I think that if you're redoing the roof, it is a maintenance issue, and that's definitely a factor that would turn buyers off of the property if the roof has not been maintained over time. Solar panels. Solar energy installations have dropped in price significantly in recent years. Their value to prospective buyers keeps rising. However, that does not mean you will cash out by installing them. One interesting thing to note when it comes to solar panels is that there are contract terms and installations vary. These can add a lien or other obligations to the property that may cause mortgage companies to back away in the future. Solar panels are becoming more popular as we've gone along. However, keep in mind, if property does have solar panels, you will want to know what the contract looks like for those solar panels. And it's also important to know which company they're with and what the return looks like when it comes to using those solar panels. If you're in a city like Toronto and we don't always have the sunniest of winters, are you going to be using energy throughout the winter that you've been able to build up through the summer? Or will that energy that's been built up through the summer be able to carry you through the winter if needed? There's a really good post on YouTube from MKBHD. He installed solar panels. I think it was incredible. I learned a ton watching his actual true cost breakdown and where he saves and how long it would take him to actually save money in the long run. Definitely worth watching his videos, and all his videos are awesome. Check that out. And solar panels, I don't think that they would add more value to your home unless they're done super well, unless there's no contract and they're bought out. But I also don't know how that works. So to be honest, it's not my area of expertise. If a property does have solar panels that you're interested in buying, or if you're selling with solar panels, make sure to have all the documents in check when you go to sell. Over the top landscaping. So not all landscaping is created equal. That is true. While you may see a lot of native plants and extensive vegetable garden as a selling point, buyers may see that as a lot of work and upkeep. Realtor.com notes that to get the most value from your landscaping at selling time, keep it tidy and simple with easy to care for flowers and plants and trees. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that if it is too extensive of a garden, it might turn off some buyers who really don't know how to garden. And if it's just some nice grass and nicely curated with some nice bricks or stones and some mulch and trees, I think you're good to go. But if it's too extensive, that might turn off potential buyers. Same thing if there's a pool, and I'm sure a pool will be on this list at some point, but a pool might appeal to some buyers, might not appeal to others. Something to factor in. If you're just installing it for the sake of reselling, if you're installing it for your own use, that's always a different case. Backyard pool, there it is. It says the average expense to maintain a standard 14 by 28 foot pool is $177 a week, which doesn't include repairs. Insurance may require that additional expense can turn off buyers. Definitely interesting to note, and this picture also has solar panels in it. I do think that a pool is subjective relative to the current buyers. Not all buyers want a pool, and not all buyers can afford the maintenance of a pool. That being said, some buyers love a pool, and that's exactly what they're looking for. So pools are case by case, and definitely something we don't see a ton of them in the city of Toronto because the lot sizes are not huge. That being said, the properties that do have pools typically have quite sizable backyards. I'd love to hear your thoughts on pools in the comments below. Closet removal, beware the consequences before you take out a closet to expand a bedroom. I would agree with this. I do think that storage is super important, and you're going to want as much storage as possible in homes. In the city of Toronto, specifically in the downtown core, houses aren't exactly the biggest. So just something to consider if you're going to remove the closet is where you put those clothes and anything that would have been stored in the closets. Home office, well, more people are working from home. Consider how much money you put into that home office if you're planning on selling soon. Sellers on average only recouped about 55% of the remodeling expenses at resale. I think that's interesting. I think it really depends on what exactly that office looks like. If you're building all built-ins, those built-ins might be tough to remove. So if you're taking up a good amount of space in, for example, a bedroom to create that home office, the next buyer might not want those built-ins to come with the property. I'd recommend going with more of a modular style with desks and removable storage that you can take out of there when selling. That way the office is very functional for your needs and for the next buyer. It doesn't become a hindrance in removing those fixed items from the wall. Next one, aquarium. This is really cool, and that one looks pretty awesome. Dazzled by fish and coral in a built-in aquarium, buyers may not likely see added value. Instead, they'll just see maintenance costs. Quick search online shows a cost of installing a built-in aquarium can be thousands of dollars, not including the fish and the upkeep, of course. I would say an aquarium is something that is spectacular if it's done right. I've also seen some that are massive that take up a good portion of a room that I don't even know if the seller can move them. That's how big they are. Aquarium is one of those things where if it's there and it can be removed, then it might look pretty cool for showings. But if it's something that's built in and you can't remove it, that will most likely remove some buyers from the buying pool when it comes to selling your home. Hot tub. Buyers tend to see hot tubs like swimming pools when it comes to resale value. Costly maintenance issue. You may associate it with relaxation. Don't be surprised if buyers want you to get rid of the hot tub before they sign the dotted line. I would agree with this. It's really important to know the condition of the hot tub, when it was installed, how has the maintenance been, the upkeep, and what kind of maintenance it's going to require moving forward. In general, if it's an older hot tub, buyers may opt to ask for it to be removed, which could be a pretty significant cost for the sellers. If you are putting in a hot tub, consider what it's going to look like when you do go to sell. I've seen new ones these days that are inflatable and you can move them around, and I've heard they actually work pretty good. That might be a better option if you're considering selling relatively in the short term, where you're not going to be using that hot tub for many years to come. And you can remove it relatively easily by just deflating it and taking it off property. Including the last video, those are 21 renovation options according to MSN.com and what that return looks like for your property. I'd love to hear your comments down below on any other ideas you would add, whether you disagree or agree with anything that I mentioned, or what else you would do to improve your property. I'm Michael Ouzas. Thanks for watching.